Subpart G, maintenance scope of the subpart prescribes the requirements of the name to component with the liquid natural gas. Generally, each component of the cloud, including support system, must be maintained with the condition level compatible to operational safety for the prepared plate and other means. Operator may not play for the return and continue with the server within the component which is not maintained with the core for the subpart. Each component that is taken out with the server must identify the record kept with the 193.2639. As the safety device is taken out with the server, made with the component with the main server with the device that must be taken with the server left the safety function is provided with the alternate means inadvertent operation of the component taken out with the server. That could be called the hazardous condition. The components that must have the tag and attached control bearing words do not operate with the words comparable meaning. 193.2605 maintenance procedure that each operator shall determine the performance consistent generally accepted engineering practice the periodic inspection tests needed to meet the applicable requirements of the subpart verified with the components of the met with the maintenance standard with the prescribed and subpart. Each of the operators filed with the one with the more manual written procedure with the maintenance to each of the components, including any of the required corrosion control procedure, must include the details inspection tests during determined with the under paragraph A with the section with the frequency of the performance and the description of other actions necessary with the maintenance of the liquid natural gas plant according to the requirements of the subpart. Each operator shall include the manual required with the paragraph B with the section instruction enable the personnel who perform the operation maintenance activities recognize the condition potentially made with the safety related conditions subject to the reporting requirements of the 193 subchapter 193.2607. Form material. The present form material containment that ice shall be devoid of the control and maintain operational safety. Each of the components liquid natural gas plant grounds must be free with the rubbish and the debris and other material which present with the fire hazard graph in the area of the liquid natural gas plant grounds must be maintained in a manner that does not present fire hazard. Support system. Each 2609 support system. Each support system foundation. Each component must be installed and inspected for the detrimental change that could be impaired with support. 2611 the fire protection maintenance activity. Fire control must be scheduled with the minimum equipment taken out with the server at one time to prepare with the return to the server with a reasonable period of time, and excess routine of the movement of the fire control movement equipment within liquid natural gas plant must be maintained the reasonable provided for the use of all weather conditions. 2613 auxiliary power source. Each of the power source, the auxiliary power source must be tested monthly. Check with the operational capability tested annually for the capacity. The capacity test must be taken into account with the power need of the server at the time so the the equipment that would have to be served by the power source in an emergency. Isolating and purging before the planning before personnel begin maintaining the activity component of the handling of the flammable liquids, flammable fluids isolated with the main if the component must be purged in accordance with the procedure to meet the requirement of the purging principles practices and left the main if the procedure the 193.2605 that provide with the activity safely performed without purging. If a component made with the activity provided ignition sort of the technique condition with the isolation valve with the removing spool pieces of the valves and blanking flanging with the piping double blocking of the bleeding valve must be used to ensure the work with the free fluid flammable fluids. 2617 repair work components must be performed and tested in the manner which is fair practicable to comply with the applicable requirements of subpart D of this part. Ensure the integrity of the operation safety component being repaired for the repairs made with the component in the operating shelf and made the procedure 193.2605 appropriate precautions maintained safety of the personnel property during the repair activities. Control system 2619 each control system must be properly adjusted to operate with the design limits. If the control system is out of service for 30 days or more, they must be inspected to test an operational capability before returning to the server. The control system and the server normally operations such as the relay valve, automatic shutdown, device control system, internal shutoff valve of the bottom penetration must be inspected to test at each of the calendar year, not exceeding 15 months of the following exemption. The control system essentially such as the liquefaction vaporization must be inspected and tested before use of each season. Control system that are intended for fire protection must be inspected to test regular intervals not exceeding 6 months. Control system that are normally low operation with the required the base load system must be inspected and tested once each calendar year, but intervals not exceeding 15 months. The rated leg valve must be inspected to test verification of the valve's heat lifting pressure and receding. 2621 transfer hoses out of the liquid natural gas flammable refrigerant transfer system must be tested once each calendar year, but intervals not exceeding 15 months of the maximum pump pressure relief valve setting. Visually inspect for the damage defect before each use. Inspection liquid natural gas storage tanks. Each liquid natural gas storage tank must be inspected to test to verify that each of the following conditions does not impair the structural integrity of the safety of the tank. Foundation tank movement during normal operation after the major meteorological geophysical disturbance in air tank leakage affects the isolation. Frost heave corrosion protection. Each operator shall determine the metallic component of the cup that could unless corrosion control of their integrity, reliability, virtually affect the external and internal atmosphere that corrosion during the intended server life components integrity of the reliability could adversely affect the corrosion be either protected with the corrosion according with the 193.2627 and 2635 applicable inspected to the plate under the program schedule maintenance according with the procedure established in 193.2605. 2627, the atmospheric conditions exposed the component with the subject to the atmospheric corrosive action that may protect the atmospheric corrosion by material that has been designed to resist the corrosive atmosphere involved with a suitable corrosive jacking. 2629, external control corrosion barrier with the submerged component of each bird. Submerged component that is subject to external corrosion attacks must be protected with external corrosion materials have been designed to select for the resist corrosive the environment involved with the following beneath the external protective coating designed that's solved to prevent corrosion attack meet the requirements of Statute 192-461 of this chapter. A cathodic protection system designed to protect the components of their integrity with the requirements of 192-463 chapter of the play for the operation before October 23rd, 1981, within 1 year of the component of the construction installed, which is delayed with the cathodic protection applied with the components that are electrically interconnected that must be connected as unit internal 2631 internal corrosion control. Each component with the subject of the internal corrosion corrosive attack must be protected with the internal corrosion material that has been designed with selected to resist the corrosive fluid involved. Suitable coating inhibitor or other means. 2633 interference currents. A component of the subject of the electrical current interference must be protected with the continuing program to minimize the detrimental effect of the current. Each cathodic protection must be designed and solved as to minimize any difference with the adverse effect that may be covered with adjacent metal components. Each impressed current power must be installed to maintain and prevent adverse interference with the communication control system. Alright, 193.2635 monitoring corrosion provided with the subpart may be periodically monitored given the recognize the effect of the corrosion protection, including the following is applicable. Each barrier submerged component of the cathodic protection must be tested at least once each calendar year with the move of the interval is not exceeding 15 months to determine whether the cathodic protection meets the requirements of 192.463 of the chapter. Cathodic protection rectified with the impressed current power with the source may be inspected at least 6 times each calendar year, but an interval of not exceeding 2.5 months to ensure they operating properly. Each reverse current switch of each dial with an interference bottom will failure to jeopardize the component protection must be electronically check the proper performance at least 6 times each calendar year, but interval of not exceeding 2.5 months that each for the other interference bond must be checked at least once each calendar year, but the interval is not exceeding 12 15 months that each component that is protected with the atmospheric corrosion must be inspected at intervals not exceeding 3 years. If the component protected with the internal corrosion monitoring device designed to detect the internal corrosion of such compound probe that must be located with the corrosion must likely occur with the monitoring now. The required with the corrosion resistant material for the operator to demonstrate that the component does not adversely affect the internal corrosion during the life of the internal corrosion control monitoring device must be checked at least 2 times each calendar year, but at intervals not exceeding 7.5 months. Remedial measure protective corrosion remedial action must be taken whenever the operator learns that the inspection otherwise the atmospheric internal corrosion is not controlled as required by this subpart. And 2639 and maintenance record sheet operator shall keep the record with liquid natural gas with the day of the time of each maintenance activity performed each component meet the requirements of this part for each liquid natural gas facility designed with the construction of the March 31st, 2000 operation shall be maintained. Periodic inspection testing record of the National Fire Protection Agency 59-2001 requires maintaining records of whether the required this part of the National Fire Protection Agency 59-2001 must be kept in the period not less than 5 years. Each operator shall maintain records of maps and show the location of the cathodic protection component of the neighboring structure that bound with the cathodic protection corrosion protection system. Each of the following records must be returned for as long as the liquid natural gas facility remains in service. Each record of the map required of the paragraph B of the section and records of each of the tests of the survey of the inspection required with the subpart sufficient detail with the demonstration of the adequacy of the corrosion control measures. Subpart 8, personal qualifications and training.